And I think what AI is going to allow us to do is to save the true relationship building to the humans and allow us to be almost a refuge from technology.
Welcome to Driving Growth, the go-to-market podcast for traditional B2B businesses that are looking to build systems to create predictable revenue growth. In short, turning their company into a revenue factory. I'm your host, Steve Whittington, president of Roadmap, and a believer in one simple truth. Sustainable growth is not an accident, it's engineered. And my company, Roadmap, is a builder of go-to-market systems. On today's show, Kirko Papajanis, a go-to-market revenue leader that has over 25 years experience spanning multiple verticals. This episode is jam-packed with real-world examples of how to drive growth. Well, first things first, tell the listeners who you are and what you've done in your career, because people don't know you, or at least my listeners don't know you. So give us some background, then we'll get into some details.
Sure. I guess my career in go-to-market revenue building stuff started way back in Y2K, and I started working for a small startup agency in Toronto, founded by a couple of high school friends. And originally, I was working in operations, setting up their contact center. But our clients, they're mostly in technology, and a lot of my role shifted into kind of building that sales development aspect for a lot of the clients. And we quickly kind of got railroaded into that revenue generation role. And then, really embraced it. I think the first time probably was we were doing some work for Motorola, specifically for their partners, their VARs and MSPs. And I put together what I called at the time human marketing automation.
Okay. Okay.
There's
Yep.
Humans would execute my marketing automation flow chart manually.
Mm-hmm.
And we were doing this for unsophisticated partners and VARs of Motorola's, and they loved it. The ROI was tremendous, to the point that they actually invited me to their partner conference to speak on a panel.
Okay.
And I'm sitting on a panel with VP of Sales and Operations, CRO, and I felt a little bit out of my league, but they loved it, and I had a great time with these people. And I realized in that moment, this is what I want to do. This
So
is it.
that was the moment where you said, I am going to become a revenue leader. And you felt, you got that validation sitting up there with all those
Hmm.
folks, and this is going to be your career path. Okay, so then 20 some years later, 25 years later, in fact, as we were talking earlier, my producer Michael pointed out, because you can tell from the gray in the two of our beards, and I was a Y2K kid, or a .com kid, that we're closer to 2050 than we are to 2000.
Hmm.
We thanked him for that. That was great. So so anyway, 25 years on from that moment in the 2000, and when you're helping scale technology companies, what do you think has been some of the things that have remained the same? Like you mentioned flowcharts, now human
Hmm.
automation, now it's marketing automation, now then you had
Hmm.
SDR automation, all that kind of stuff. So what's remained constant in this over 2 decade career of driving revenue growth for organizations?
Hmm. I'd say first and foremost, and where I've seen a lot of my career shift to, is hiring smart. I think that I've kind of developed my own thoughts around what makes the ideal candidate to join my team
Hmm.
in a revenue building capacity. And, I like to think that pedigree, experience, that type of stuff, it's not as important to me as humility, thirst for knowledge, and desire. And my job is to find people that exhibit those traits. And if I find that person, that's my diamond. And they may require some polish, and may require some attention, but they're gonna be great in the end. So that's item number one, is hiring smart. The other thing is, once you've found that person, is you have to set clear expectations. On the hiring front, I develop something that is not a job description. It's what I call a position results description, which outlines what the results a role is expected to deliver. And similarly for clients, every time we talk about doing a campaign or doing something for them, we build out what responsibilities or what results we are responsible for delivering. The last one is data, and analytics. This has always been kind of my bread and butter. My background is I'm a math guy. That's what I do. Um, the ability to see trends, to adapt to the changing world, to adapt to changes in what our clients want. It has really been a blessing for us. It's been great, and it all comes back to being able to look at the data, analyze it, move quickly and decisively based on what we see.
So, to recap, people first, which is a good to great, mantra, right?
Hmm.
First who, then what kind of thing. And then with the people, making sure that you have result expectations defined, and then putting the data model in place for whatever project or initiative, campaign, company, you name it, that then allows you to iterate and drive those results. So when you come in as a new CRO, what is the first thing that you kind of audit or the first system that you have to put in place? I mean, there might be an obvious if there's no CRM, you need a CRM, stuff like that. But like, what's some of the first systems or metrics that you need to see and able to execute and get those results that you're talking about?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that really I like to look at is the customer journey.
Okay.
How how does a customer interact with the company? How are we reaching them? What are the life cycle stages? Um, just generally understanding how that handoff is from marketing to sales, how we go from suspect to prospect, all of these little details. I need to understand before I touch a thing, before I look at changing talk tracks or sales playbooks or anything. I need to understand, what is the client doing.
We'll get back to the show in just a moment, but I wanted to take this chance to tell you about a new initiative at Roadmap. We have launched a go-to-market acceleration fund, and what we are doing is research with organizations to rank them with their go-to-market maturity. Now, here's the fun part, is that 5 organizations are going to be eligible for a $5,000 in funding to help them grow. For more information and to apply, go to weareroadmap.com/go-to-market acceleration fund. Now, let's get back to the show. So you take the current state customer journey, and then that's in place. So then what?
Then it's about setting those expectations. As I said before, aligning on what the results people are responsible for, making sure that they've set goals for them to achieve those results. And then my job at that point is to get out of their way and be there as really a resource to remove obstacles, and then kind of be that person that is uh, keeping an eye out for obstacles. I almost think of, it's you you have to be the captain, but a captain that looks far out into to the horizon to see where the ship is headed and what's coming up ahead. Is your client about to be hit by a lawsuit? Is their CEO going to be called in front of Congress for something? You have to be aware of how that's going to impact things coming down the pike.
Then, and you're scanning the horizon, and obviously you're looking back to see what's worked, what hasn't worked.
Mhm.
What like are there some motions that you find that are repeatable that you can do? Like for me, for instance, a motion that I get all folks to do is capture intent in the marketplace, obviously with
Hmm.
search, right?
Hmm.
And you learn so much just by doing that. But what would be an example of a motion that you replay over and over again, that's or
Hmm.
often, I guess, with your clients and in your career?
Well, I'm gonna tell you about one particular motion that has worked well for enterprise clients that have a narrower market, and
Hmm.
it's building out an ABM style play that's based on upfront strategic data intelligence, and it really, we've used this a few times because it's so remarkably effective. We have clients come in and they are somewhat misguided about what their actual market looks like. So we will execute kind of from taking an initial total addressable market, identifying, serviceable, and then serviceable attainable market. And that's our starting point. Then we
Right.
develop a research campaign. Our goal is to gather information about the companies in that obtainable market, and we will go deep and and ask questions and try and gather as much information because, and this is the most important point, it it's very low committal for the people that we're reaching out to, because they're just sharing experiences, kind of like this podcast where I'm sharing my experiences with you. They share their experiences in their field, and our agents and our researchers use that combined with AI research on their company to develop a really interesting dossier of what are the triggers, what's important to the people, who are the key players, who are all of the stakeholders, and what skin they have in the game, what KPIs are important to them, where they think their market is heading. And out of that, not only do we develop a really good framework around which we can build talk tracks, sales playbooks, etc., we've actually ended up building even one-to-one content for some of the bigger potential accounts, where we'll build a content piece specifically for one company based on the wealth of information we gathered.
Getting that in-depth research about your total realizable market, that is of course it's gold, right? So that's an
Mhm.
interesting play. And then of course you're building a relationship while you're doing it,
Exactly.
and then it makes it a warm lead, not a cold lead, when you actually get around to the whole revenue acquisition motion. Great stuff. Well, thanks for sharing that. You were talking about automation, and we hinted back about in the 2000, back when I was a dot-com kid, spinning up websites. You did human automation. or human marketing automation, I think was the term you used.
Uh-huh.
And now we have so much different technology options available to us as revenue drivers. In fact, too much, obviously.
Hmm.
But I mean, I use a lot of AI to help me in our processes and with our clients. I
Hmm.
was wondering, what are some of your must-have, AI tools that you're utilizing, with revenue operations?
We were using Apollo um, to help us initially, and then we connected with a company called Omni, spelled AOMNI,
Okay.
uh, and they built an entire platform for a sales team, and it combined kind of intent information with company and contact data and the ability to prompt and write emails that were relevant for the time. So it would search LinkedIn posts by contacts and allow you to craft emails quickly that were built on things that people were talking about. And I found this a tremendous help um, for our business development team. They were able to get meaningful uh, communication out to people quickly. They're able to see their LinkedIn posts very quickly and comment on them, engage with them on LinkedIn. Uh, they could see intent signals and act on them accordingly. And that coupled with, on-site first-party intent signals from our own website, we could we could action those really quickly and catch people right at the best times
Right.
to advance the sales conversation. And since then, you opened my eyes a little bit to Humanic, which is really interesting. And I'm pretty sure last week I had a call from I had my first interaction with a non-human SDR,
Right. Right.
she was really good.
Hmm. Hmm.
And it was for the company Seamless. And I was trying really hard, and there are a few clues that clued me into why I thought it was an AI. And then I confirmed with the AE that I spoke to later that in fact they do use for their small business targets, they use AI SDRs, which is was really interesting. And my experience was, better than expected. So I do see a future of that. I still believe that there is an element to sales that needs to be human. And I think what AI is going to allow us to do is to save the true relationship building to the humans and allow us to be almost a refuge from technology. And I think the connections will be stronger and will be better and more lasting when we form them. And it kind of allows not having to ask humans to do that BDR grunt work, which is
Right.
sometimes thankless.
Kirko, where can people find you if they want to learn more and follow along with all the stuff that you do?
Well, I've decided in the last month and a half since we talked to launch my own company finally after many years of working for people. It's called Crop, spelled KRROP, and it's at crop.com. Um, Also at KP at KRROP.com. I'm on LinkedIn too. Hit me
We'll
up.
we'll be sure to share your profile in the show notes. Thank you for your
Wonderful.
time and great conversation. Thanks a lot.
Steve, this has been great. If you ever want to drill down on any of these things, let's do this again.
Well, that was 25 years of building go-to-market systems distilled down into minutes. Kirko understands clearly the investment in customer understanding to gain long-term results to fuel your go-to-market system. So that's it for today's episode. If you found it useful, share it with your team. As well, go to weareroadmap.com/podcast to download the Revenue Factory Toolkit, in which you receive the mathematical models and framework for building your go-to-market system. Also, subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts, with new episodes dropping the first and third Wednesday of every month. I'm Steve Whittington. Thanks for listening. Keep building your Revenue Factory one brick at a time.